GTA Vice City Next Gen Edition is bad. Whoa there. Put the pitchforks down. Let me explain myself. This is going to be an extremely controversial video. My comments on unrelated videos are filled with people asking me to play Next Gen Edition. My playthrough on my second channel is filled with criticism of my playthrough, telling me that my opinion is wrong and so on. You're welcome to your opinion on that, but my hope with this video is to provide you with my experience playing Vice City Next Gen Edition, where I can give critique and feedback while collecting my thoughts in a reasonably coherent way. This video will have some negative parts, and will have some positive ones as well. Unlike other YouTubers covering this mod who have played 10 minutes to record some footage and immediately assumed that the quality of that 10 minutes applies to the whole game, I played the entire thing, every single mission, and I'm going to take you through my thoughts, good and bad, as we progress through. For a quick summary on my experience with GTA Vice City, I speedrun the game, I know it front to back. The same cannot be said for GTA 4. I know next to nothing about GTA 4 as I've only played it a handful of times. Playing Vice City within GTA 4 is definitely something I'm not used to, but I won't hold that against the mod as that is entirely my problem. Also, before we begin, this was all recorded on the first public build of the mod, meaning there may have been updates since and the issues I faced may already be fixed. That being said, this is still a public release, which has an implication that it should be of at least decent quality. I don't think that's a hot take or anything. Anyway, let's get started. So let's start with some good bits. The mod looks incredible. I was genuinely taken aback seeing a game I love in such a beautiful engine. The cityscape looks stunning, especially at nighttime, and sometimes you just have to stop and have a look at your surroundings. Next Gen also includes a bunch of quality of life things brought over from GTA 4. You can swim now, and there are places everywhere where you can climb out of the water so you don't get stuck. You have autosave after every single mission, which is a massive plus, especially when it comes to mods, as they can be very unstable and it sucks having to redo missions due to crashes or bugs. You also have the GTA 4 graphic settings, which aren't great, but are certainly better than Vice City settings. This gives you the ability to have much more control on what you want to see and not see, how much traffic is on the road and stuff like that. These additions do have issues, such as VSync locking the game to around 53 frames per second instead of your refresh rate for some reason. Loading the autosave always teleports you to Ocean Beach regardless of where you saved, rather than your closest safe house like in GTA 4. The save file names don't have missions included for some reason, and loading them removes your body armor if you had any. But these are quite easy fixes and small problems, so I'm not too bothered about this. Revolution Team has also added in extra content, such as cut content, which is always welcome, as well as some custom bits and pieces. A good example is a new cutscene that plays at the end of Trojan Voodoo. These are quite cool and I'm glad they exist. Some extra content is definitely lower quality, such as the horrendous AI phone calls you receive sometimes.
Tommy, these temptations, we're going to kill them all. Tommy, we need you. I'm waiting for you at my father's cafe.
That is the most horrendously, obviously AI generated, terrible, dogshit Danny Trejo audio I've ever heard in my life. But again, this is all quite minor so far. I am far more lenient on the visuals of this mod, even though there are clear issues, as porting this game can't have been an easy job, especially for such a small team. However, I am going to be less lenient on the scripting side of things, mission design and the like. Let's take a look at that. I think it's really important to clear up some misinformation that I've seen a lot surrounding this mod, and its status as a remaster or remake or whatever you want to call it. It is neither of those. It is simply a port of a game into another engine. The engines are extremely different, so a lot of code has been written from scratch, and some has been copied over from the original game. The reason I'm making this distinction is due to it actually affecting some of my critiques. If this mod was labeled as a remake, then some of the design decisions would make a ton of sense. However, the word remake isn't mentioned anywhere. You can see on the GTA forums page that the new experience is supposed to come from the new engine, the new physics, new combat, etc., not changes made by the devs themselves. That brings me nicely onto my first big critique. The developers have changed a lot of things for seemingly no reason. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of stuff will need to have been rewritten in order to make this game work at all on a new engine. I totally get that. What I don't understand is why massive things like, oh, I don't know, how to actually beat the game now has entirely different requirements. In the original game, you kill Diaz, you unlock assets, you do 7 of them, with 2 being mandatory, and the others being whichever you like. Then you unlock the final 2 missions and beat the game. If you've seen my Vice City critique, you'll know that I don't think this is a good system. It can definitely be improved. That being said, it's crazy that in Next Gen Edition, this has been made way worse. Now you need to complete all of the assets, except not really, as pole position isn't required, and also the Vassetti estate now isn't required either. This is a mandatory asset for very important lore reasons, but now you can beat the game, kill Lance in the final mission, and then beat the Vassetti estate missions, after which Lance is still alive? What were they thinking? Since you need to do a ton more missions and therefore buy way more expensive assets now, you need a ton more money. In the original game, this was already a problem, as you don't get nearly enough money to buy the assets that you need. This is now again made way worse, as you need lots more cash, and the only way to get it fast is to use exploits or grind for it, and both suck. Previously, the final Cortez mission, or Hands on Deck, was optional. Now it is mandatory as well. This game is not a remake. There is no reason why the devs should be changing massive portions of the game like this. It would be one thing to remove broken mechanics or fix bugs, but this system has been entirely rewritten for no good reason. It doesn't end here either. Many missions have also been changed in various ways for no reason at all. Some have extra objectives, some have less, some are more difficult, some are less difficult. This is extremely arbitrary at best and incompetent at worst. The reason I speculate that incompetence is to blame will become clear when we look at the next section. Oh my god, the bugs. Again, I will preface that this is a huge project done by a small team. The fact that it exists at all is very impressive. That being said, the state this mod is in at the time of release is completely unacceptable from a technical perspective. This project needed several months more in the oven at least, and it was already delayed once from the end of 2024 into January 2025 to try and polish the mod before release. This mod isn't at the polish stage yet, it is still months away from that. It clearly hasn't been properly playtested, as some of these issues are so big and so obvious that I refuse to believe the testers missed them. I played this mod for around 12 hours total, and if I showed you every bug I found, this video would also be 12 hours long, so I'll try and keep it fairly condensed. Here's my experience with Vice City Next Gen Edition and all the major issues I faced. There are some generic issues that plague the game constantly, such as the constant crashing. Crashes do happen, but this mod crashes every 10 minutes or so, and no, I'm not joking. I've watched streams of others playing it, and they had the exact same thing. Your setup doesn't seem to matter too much. There's also the issue of the game clearly not being balanced for the new engine. Combat is completely different in GTA 4 compared to GTA Vice City, and some missions simply don't work well with these new systems. I don't think it's a lot to ask for the missions to be rebalanced to reflect this, and it's clear some attempt has been made as you now are given bonus weapons and health in places, but simply not enough has been done in my opinion. I will elaborate on all of this as we get into specific examples. To be clear, most of the major issues are in the second half of any typical playthrough. Anything before killing Diaz, it's mostly inoffensive. This is why I believe that videos you've seen here on YouTube calling this mod the best mod of all time are quite disingenuous, as they haven't played enough to see any of the bad parts that you'll see later on. A good example is Mercedes' dialogue once she hops on your bike during the party.
Wow, I really dig your motorcycle.
Will you be working for my father?
Maybe.
It's so difficult.
That didn't sound like Mercedes.
Father.
This clearly isn't her speaking. It's likely dialogue from a GTA 4 character. You'll see a lot of this later. But it's a minor thing, pretty forgettable. YouTubers will have seen this and shrugged it off because it's a small mistake that is easily fixed. I did exactly the same. Another positive I forgot to mention before is the phone system also ported over from GTA 4. Tommy doesn't have a phone with a touchscreen or anything, as it's still the 80s, but the phone mechanics are still way better. You can skip calls now, you can answer them in vehicles, you can sprint with your phone out, you can get calls with a wanted level, and so on. All really good changes. I also love that there are a ton of extra fixed car spawns around, as now we can have way more cars on the screen at once. This is especially a huge positive once you unlock Sunshine Autos later on, as a lot of the cars you need now have fixed spawns compared to just a few in the original game. Oh, and also some of the cutscenes are 100 times better with GTA 4 physics. A big issue that does exist in the early game, however, is the lack of ammo. For some reason, weapon pickups give you around half the ammo that they do in the original, and missions also give you way less, meaning ammo is super scarce early on. Again, this is inconsistent. When you grab the RPG spawn, it gives you double the usual amount for some reason. Inconsistencies are very common in this mod overall. Even things like explosive barrels feel random as to whether they will explode upon being shot. After finishing Riot, I immediately went and started Avery's chain of missions. You know what that means? Demolition Man, baby. This mission has already gained infamy again for all the same reasons it did back in the day. The mission has been labeled as impossible without some sort of cheat or trainer to hack the game and make it easier. This is, of course, pure nonsense. I beat the mission on my second attempt. It is, however, quite poorly designed. The toy helicopter is clearly just a much bigger helicopter shrunken down, meaning it is extremely difficult to control as any minor movement sends you smacking straight into walls. The camera is also really bad in places, constantly freaking out so you can't see where you're going. The mission is bad, but what happens after is way, way worse. Go! Easy fucking mission, dude. Easy. Hello? Oh, I died. Yeah. Woo! Oh, I shit myself then. Let's go. Why am I in the interior world? The cutscene didn't play, and now I'm just shot in the interior world. Oh, I can drive. No, it's fine. We can play like this. I know the map. I know where I'm going, guys. We're chilling. Then we go over here. Yeah, chilling. Oh god, the lag! Holy shit! What is this lag? Legit like 3 FPS all of a sudden. You might think that this is a rare one-off occurrence, but it's a very common thing that is happening to many people playing the mod. This should have been caught in testing. Heading to see Cortez this time, this mission shows the first time some obviously very jank code is used to obscure the fact that GTA 4 lacks things that Vice City had. GTA 4 doesn't have a chainsaw, so they coded it as a gun. You can see the bullets leave your weapon as you use it, and you have 9,999 of them according to the UI. I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on how to make a chainsaw in GTA 4, but I'm certain this could have been done way better. More Shootout is the first proper instance of blink and you'll miss it weirdness. This right turn he takes is very interesting, although it may seem like whatever on the surface. In the original game, the guy you chase has a dedicated path, and a destination that he needs to get to. If you don't kill him before he gets there, you'll fail the mission. In this mod, he turned right because he is coded to just wander randomly. This means that he will never go to the place he is supposed to. Again, we have two logical outcomes here. Either the devs intentionally rewrote the mission for an arbitrary reason, or they didn't know that he had a destination in the first place. The original Vice City scripts are easy to find and read, so in my opinion, it is inexcusable for this team to recreate this mission without knowing how it properly works. If it was intentional, why did they change it at all? During Guardian Angels, I get my first wake-up call on how different the gunplay is in GTA 4 and get killed. This death is entirely on me. I didn't respect the enemies enough and I paid the price for it. What is concerning though is what happened afterwards. Again, this isn't a one-off occurrence. If you die in this mod, your game will crash 90% of the time. This is absolutely inexcusable for a public release, and I have no idea how an already delayed mod due to lack of polish included such a major bug in their delayed build. Crashing due to random factors is harder to pin down and find a solution. Crashes that all players face almost every single time they die absolutely should have been fixed before release. Phnom Penh is the first time you'll see another issue, which shows in later missions as well. Sometimes the audio is really low quality. The voice lines sound crunchy and poorly balanced. It's impressive to make the audio sound worse than it did on a PS2 disc. I have no idea what happened here. Phnom Penh also adds a lot of weird things, such as a lot of extra or moved enemies, and the ability to leave the helicopter at any time, which instantly fails the mission. It also lacks basic testing, as you can very easily break the mission towards the end. Once Lance lands, you can hijack his helicopter, as it isn't locked or anything. Then, at the newly rewritten ending of the mission, you softlock. This is very easy to replicate, and again, should have been found in testing. The fastest boat also has new arbitrary enemy spawns that can get you killed if you're not careful, and also has the first instance that I saw of giving you small upgrades to try and offset the terrible balancing. Any one of these enemies can destroy you 1v1 here, as they have assault rifles, which are far more deadly compared to the assault rifles in Vice City. The mod tries to compensate by giving you a rifle of your own, but it isn't obvious at all, especially so in GTA 4 as the weapon pickups are much smaller and harder to spot. This means that most players won't see this rifle, and just have to deal with a massive difficulty spike for no reason when you trigger the boat to drop and immediately get greeted with 6 enemies that annihilate you if you're not already in cover. There is health inside as another attempted fix, but again, the health packs are very small and it's not usually there, meaning it can easily be missed. All of this doesn't matter though when the game crashes, meaning you have to redo it all anyway, even if you do survive. The fastest boat is also a questionable name now, as the boats in this mod are ridiculously slow, even for GTA 4 standards, and they drive like pure ass as well. Sir Yes Sir is an interesting one, as in the original game you have many options on how to retrieve the tank from the army. I tried a bunch of them, and none of them worked. I had to wait for them to get donuts before I could steal it. The tank is also janky as hell, as there was no tank really in GTA 4, so this thing is basically just a car. It doesn't blow up other cars when they collide with you, and the turret doesn't work at all like in the original game. It's a big downgrade. Also, at the end of this mission, this can happen. Hello officers. I can steal the tank, but I think the thing is locked below me. Yeah, no, I'm stuck. Death Row is another mission that clearly isn't tested around the GTA 4 mechanics, as on your escape, Lance can easily be shot dead over and over inside the car by the guys chasing you down. I got out without any problems. Okay, one slight problem, but the others weren't so lucky.
Are you serious?
I will give props to the devs though, as they managed to recreate Lance's horrible AI perfectly. Shakedown has some good and bad parts. The randomness of how many bullets it takes to smash the windows has been removed, but also the GTA 4 indoor sprinting speed is so slow it really makes doing this mission a drag. Also, the ending trigger seems to be broken as I smashed all the windows, but nothing happened for ages until the end cutscene finally played. This is also a good time to point out another recurring issue. Every time you complete a mission, you don't lose your wanted level like you do in the original. This creates such an annoying gameplay loop of having to get rid of the cops every single time you complete a mission. Having to load your autosave and get teleported miles away to Ocean Beach, or driving all the way to a pay and spray before you can continue moving on. There only seems to be one mission that removes it, which makes me think that that was added as a mistake. I don't know why they changed this, it's just boring. Speaking of broken mission triggers, the Copland Garage one is also seemingly busted. Once you enter the garage, 2 scripted cops should spawn in and trigger the next part of the mission, but this just doesn't happen anymore. I needed to wait for the mission to catch up. Are you okay, lady? Lady? Alright, I'll put you out of your misery. Oh, no, she's just chilling, okay. Okay, moving on. Another addition I really like are the physical money counters they've added to each asset, which you interact with in order to take money from your assets now. That plus the couches or beds to save your game make for a better looking experience than the icons in the original game. Now we are onto assets and need money. Many of you might immediately think of Cone Crazy as a great way to cheese lots of cash. I thought the same, so I went to check it out as well. Cone Crazy is different. When I went to the roof, the stallion didn't even spawn in like it should, and the mission has quite a glaring issue. In this mod, you instantly fail the mission if you touch a cone. unlike in the original where you had to physically break the cone in order to fail. The text even still tells you that you smashed a cone when you didn't. When I raised this on my stream, I was told that it's clearly a fix for people exploiting the mission for cash, which I found hilarious. This is clearly a bug. The mission fails you for something that you didn't do. If this is an intended fix, then it's a terrible fix. The whole fix argument makes even less sense when you realize that Cone Crazy is in fact easier to cheese for cash in this mod. You don't even need to beat your previous score like in the original. You just double your money regardless every time you beat the mission, as long as you don't fail it. Comical. I completed pole position and went over to the boatyard next. The boatyard presents another issue with the aesthetics of the mod. The visual models of vehicles and their actual collision doesn't match at all. This is easily seen here with the Swallow, where you can walk right through the boat's entire front section, which should have collision. I'm not sure if they just updated the models and forgot to update the collision or what, but it happens with a ton of vehicles and even some parts of the map. I went to Sunshine Autos next and immediately faced yet another game-breaking bug. I was on the hunt for vehicles to send to the export garage when all of a sudden things stopped loading in properly. This got worse and worse over time as I kept driving around until it became unplayable, and it's a common issue as it's mentioned on their FAQ. Good to know that even if you don't crash, you'll need to restart the game anyway due to a different problem. I grinded some more asset money by doing the SSA races, did the print works, and then moved on to Kaufman Cabs. First mission of this asset, instant game-breaking bug. Great. Firstly, they've added a nonsense fail condition into this mission where if you shoot the rival cab driver, you instantly fail. This was not present in the original game, and I have no idea why they added it. The mission fail text says that you spooked the VIP. What, so shooting his car until it explodes doesn't spook him, but shooting the driver does? Nonsense. That's not the game-breaking part though. The game-breaking part is that once you damage the rival taxi enough for the VIP to get out, he gets in your taxi, gets out again, in again, and then just dies. This happened every single time, no matter what I tried. I tried not shooting at all and just ramming the car to death. I tried getting the taxi stuck, you name it. Everything I did, the VIP just dropped dead regardless, even though he was in no danger. If you remember before, all of the assets are supposed to be mandatory now, meaning that if one of them has a bug that stops you from completing it like this, your entire progress is halted. You can't beat the game. This won't be the last time we'll see a mandatory mission completely broken, but for now I moved on to other missions. I headed to do some side missions as I needed the money anyway, so I did the Love Fist and Biker storyline. Messing with the man is another infamous mission in the original game due to it being poorly designed and not telling the player properly what to do in order to beat the mission. Impressively, they again made it worse in this mod. In the original game, you need to cause chaos, shoot cars, kill cops, blow things up, stuff like that. In this mod, all the mission checks for is if you're shooting a gun, and it has been an explosion near the player. Add on a multiplier if the player is on a freeway or an angel, and this is what you end up with. The best part is that each time the meter increases, there's code that adds a random number of extra progression on top. This means that the mission is entirely luck-based. You can do the same thing in 2 attempts, fail the first one, and pass the other. Terrible coding. All Hands on Deck is one of the funniest missions I've seen in any GTA Vice City mod. Boot up the game right now and try this at home. Start All Hands on Deck, shoot Cortez to fail the mission, start the mission again. When you restart it, Sir Yes Sir starts the previous mission in the chain. Failing this mission actually undoes progress in your save. You literally go back a mission. This is unbelievably impressive. How did they code it this poorly, and how on earth did this make it to the public release? I've played some bad mods in my time, but I have never once seen my mission progress be undone. That is a first for me. Even if you don't get sent back a mission, this mission is really poorly made. The boats are once again so slow that you spend 80% of your time waiting around, and when you finally get to the end and the hunter spawns, your game crashes. This happened to me over and over again, and it happened to others as well. I'd get to the end and the game would crash. This would usually be bad enough, but once again I need to stress, They've made this mission mandatory. If you have the issues I did in this mission and you can't get past the crashes, you are fucked. You can't beat the game. The only thing that worked for me even close to consistently was rocketing the hunter immediately so it didn't have time to crash my game. But even then, I still crashed a whole lot. Unbelievable. I tried to escape the bugs by doing some payphone missions instead, but even those are sadly bugged. Check out the check-in now has extra bodyguards surrounding the target for some odd reason, and they don't react properly to the player at all. They run away like scared pedestrians. If you're going to add arbitrary enemies, at least copy the code from the working bodyguard to them so that they actually work. Also, the scanners at the airport trigger on a radius instead of when you walk through them like in the original, meaning that not only can you easily smuggle weapons into the airport, but you can also lose your weapon that you're supposed to use in the mission without doing anything wrong. Also, for some reason, they've completely changed how the final payphone mission unlocks. In the original, you needed to complete the penultimate payphone mission, and also the shootist from the Malibu Club. Now the shootist just isn't needed at all, the mission unlocks anyway. Why? Film studios are next, and oh boy are these missions a real doozy. I was curious as to how they would code Dildo Dodo as there's no planes in GTA 4, meaning that they'd need to come up with a custom solution. They traded the plane with a helicopter instead, which is whatever. Seemingly simple mission. Seemingly, I say, because one of the only other things that they had to code in this mission is bugged. The checkpoints you drive through and the hitboxes for them are completely messed up. You can drive right through a checkpoint visually and it won't count. Brilliant. Now I've mentioned the film studios, your mind might spring into action and immediately think, how on earth did they make G-Spotlight work? Well, I can answer it for you. They didn't. If you do this as you're intended, you die. Playtesters, what have you been doing? Again, this mission is mandatory. It's not like it was a side thing that's been forgotten about. There are also stunt jumps littered throughout this rooftop course, which are almost impossible as they don't even trigger when you hit them with max speed due to the GTA 4 physics. Nobody tested this, it's clear as day. Anyway, after shooting out the glass manually at the start and getting used to the bike physics, G-Spotlight is actually quite easy. I think I've made it! I think I've made it! Come on, please! I think I'm good! Yes! Yes, let's go! The cutscene's fucked, but I don't care. Yes! Mission's so easy, bro. Don't mind. No way! No way! I died! I died from that! What the fuck, dude? Oh, come on! Back to Kaufman Cabs. I gave VIP another go, and it just worked. I did exactly the same thing as I did the previous days, and it passed with no problems. Super weird. I went to finish up the asset and ran into some good stuff with the final Kaufman mission, Cabmageddon. They've made another arbitrary change here by locking you inside of your cab, which will be important later. They've also bugged the AI so if you drive away, they can't find you and all get stuck near the gate. The boss then spawns and can't enter the compound as all the taxis are blocking him, and he gets stuck on the other side of the gate as it's supposed to close behind him, but it closes in front of him instead. Usually, you could just leave your taxi, but their idiotic change of locking you in the cab means that the only way to progress the mission at this point is to ram a wall and launch yourself out through the windscreen. If your health is too low to do this, you're soft-locked. Incredible. Next up in the line of missions that are bad in the original and somehow even worse in this mod is Cherry Poppers. The original issues still exist from the original game. The requirement of 50 deals needed in a row are not communicated to the player at all, but that's a vanilla issue, so I'm not counting it. What I do count is how they've coded the wanted levels to be entirely random. In the original, 4 done deals equals a wanted star. Very simple. In this mod, they're completely luck-based. You can do 1 deal and instantly get the police after you. Lose the cops, do 1 more deal, instant police attention again. Pair this with the cops being way faster than you, and you not being able to pay and spray if they spot you entering the pay and spray, and you have an already boring mission that drags on for over twice as long, once again due to nonsense design decisions. The final asset we need is the Malibu Club. This asset really shows the amount of effort put in towards the endgame of this mod. Every mission spawns you inside of the club, unlike the original which puts you outside. meaning needless backtracking out of the club with forced DMCA music blasting in your ears with each mission attempt. The first mention of Cam Jones has his name set properly. The next one lists him as Cam Johnson instead. I guess this guy is CJ's long-lost uncle or something now. There is also a known issue here that I didn't personally experience, where the keycard can spawn underneath the map and you cannot progress. This happens in a lot of missions, including naval engagement, and if it happens to you, your playthrough is basically done for. Also, the paint spray you're intended to use doesn't work. Onto the shootist and more instances of failing the mission for doing as you're told. In this mission, you need to beat Phil's score of 60, meaning you need to get 61 points or more in order to pass. 60 is a fail. This makes it quite confusing then when the UI has a counter out of 60, implying that 60 is the correct number of points to get. The mod also tells you that you can press backspace to exit the round that you're on at any time and head to the next one. If you do this, you failed a mission for leaving the shooting range. The job now has the heist vehicle parked around back for some reason, meaning more needless running around. It's also a van now instead of a taxi. Sure, whatever. I don't really care about the vehicle choice until it causes issues. Issues, like now the dialogue doesn't make any sense. During the drive to the bank, Cam claims that Hillary is taking up too much room, but now since we're in a van, Hillary is in the front and completely separate from Cam. You'll also hear more random GTA 4 dialogue here, as Phil is actually Brucey for some reason, and you'll hear his lines instead of the Vice City dialogue. Oh, and also the SWAT guys at the end, completely invisible. Just one of the longest missions in the entire game to bug out right at the end, meaning you have to do the whole thing again. One positive I will say about this mod is at least they kill Hillary properly. Now we're done with all of the assets, we can finally beat the game. If you guessed that the final mission was also extremely poorly and arbitrarily rewritten, you'd be right on the money. Usually this mission is very simple in the original. Start mission, wait a minute, Lance spawns. Kill Lance. Another minute later, Sonny spawns if Lance is dead. Kill Sonny, mission ends. So simple, right? They surely couldn't mess this up. Wonder if you can just stun lock Lance. Oh, he runs after you, look. This is new. Oh no, he's invincible. They made him invincible for some reason. Yeah. Very cool. He's not invincible in the original, by the way.
Crossing piece of shit. Your history, Tommy! History!
This is so well coded, guys. What a good mod. Yeah, maybe I can go up to the roof. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I can just like push him down the stairs and he'll die from fall damage or something. Who knows? Will he even go up the stairs is the question. Oh. Yeah. Oh, he just falls over. I don't think I can get him up the stairs. Shoot him up the stairs. Oh! His AI just activated. I think. Oh, no, is he dead? He's alive, I think. But he's dead? Nade him? Surely he's all proof, right? He's not just explosive proof. I can try. I have grenades. That might be a bit far away. Oh, he got up! Dude! It's working! Now what is he doing? He just ran back here again. He just went back to his original place just to get soft locked again, bro. Okay, so Lance is bugged, but we found a way to kill him. Surely Sonny will spawn now, right? Nope. Sonny is nowhere to be seen. 2 triggers in this mission and both of them don't work properly. The Sonny one is especially hilarious as they added in an extra arbitrary trigger for him to spawn, which of course is bugged. Rather than needing Lance to be dead and the time requirement like before, now you also need to kill the guy stealing the money from your safe. The issue with this is that even if you kill the guys, taking the money from your safe, the mission doesn't progress. The corpses of the enemy you just killed at the safe continue stealing money from you as though they're still alive, And if you're losing money, Sunny can't spawn. Alright, let's see if the thing disappears. Yeah. It works. You're just gonna wait for the bodies to despawn. That's really funny. Bro. As if he fucking dodges that. Alright, whatever. Fuck you, bro. I tried to be fun. GG. It's worth mentioning now that we're wrapping up that there are dozens more issues myself and others found, but this video is already long enough as it is. If you enjoy this mod, then good for you. Don't let my negative opinion change your mind or sour your taste of it. Ultimately, I'm just one guy, and my opinion really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Lots of people are really enjoying this mod, and that's great. The developers are also apparently working on patches as we speak, which is great news. Hopefully, a lot of these issues will be fixed in the near future, and the true potential of this project will show itself. I didn't make this video to shit on the team making it. I made this video to talk about my experiences playing through Nextgen Edition. I made this video to document bugs and feedback for the developers so that they can create the best version of their mod possible. I think we all want that at the end of the day, and we all want more developers to work on more cool projects, regardless of Take-Two's insistence to nuke any project that threatens their bottom line. Thanks for watching.